soul code method. And it is the target audience for this method is the group of people who have a hard time healing through any modality. And because a lot of us who've done energy medicine, we have found that there are some people who, no matter what we do, it just takes forever if anything happens. Very slow progress or no progress at all. And or it could be a particular issue. They might heal in other areas, but then there's some issues that just can't be touched. And this stems from my own experience with energy medicine over the past 7 years or so, where I myself could help other people with energy medicine, but couldn't help myself, and other people couldn't really help me either. And neither could allopathic doctors as well. They all were like, oh, I don't know. And so it was very frustrating for me. And I actually had some really bad experiences with energy medicine because of this, because of certain principles that I didn't understand and the people who were working with me didn't understand. So, and out of this experience, I developed the soul code method. And its name is very similar to the emotion code and the body code, and there's also various other codes out there as well. And I felt led to call it the soul code method. It's called method to keep it different than all the other soul codes out there. And well, it's a very simple method, I think. And it doesn't go into a lot of details about what kind of an issue a person has, what the names of the energies are. A lot of people know the emotion code and the body code, and in the emotion code they name specific negative energies using emotion names, labels for emotions. In the body code you have all sorts of different types of energies that are named. And this naming, this labeling of energies can actually be very triggering for people. Not necessarily consciously, but subconsciously. And so I have developed a table of my own that I call the basic table, and I can show a picture of it right now on the screen. And
Okay.
so can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. And this is it's a very simple chart, just one chart. It has 3 columns and 6 rows, and basically it identifies not only negative energies that can be released, but also the lack of positive things like beliefs, belief statements, belief systems, paradigms, and connections or attachments. And there aren't, I haven't found any other modalities that deal with these things quite like this. A lot of people are very into clearing. They think clearing their negative stuff is the answer to everything, and don't realize that there's could actually be a lot of cuts and attachments that they don't know about. And if these attachments aren't reconnected, then they're not going to get where they want to go. And if they don't know how to use these attachments through their beliefs and their belief statements, they're not going to work very well either. Another principle I'd like to discuss is what I call pure white perfect light. This is the whole entire spectrum of light in the whole entire universe, and it includes all information, all intelligence, all everything. And every other true light is a subset of this. And this pure white perfect light is what shines through us when we are more or less healthy. It comes through our heart. It is a it is the main substance of our essence. And it is what makes us a part of this universe. All modalities, in general, I suppose, have the goal of helping a person find and access their own personal light, whether this is implicit in the modality or not. But not all modalities address this specifically. There's a lot of release modalities that they thought, okay, you release everything that is causing this problem, and then the problem will go away. And what actually should happen is that if you release all the stuff, all the negative stuff, you will access your own light better, especially for that situation. Well, not everybody manages to do that. They can release everything involved and then nothing happens, or they could even get worse. And the problem there is a lack of connection to their essence in that particular area. And this lack of connection can also be compounded by very specific types of negative energy, if you want to call them, which I call non-light. This includes darkness, but it also includes false light as well. So anyway, what is the best way to get to a person's essence if they don't have full access to it? I mean, everybody has access to it to some extent, or we'd be dead. Okay? But if a person is having a problem that is causing them distress, then their access to their personal light, their pure, right, perfect light, has been hampered, or they're not accessing it properly. And I have found that the heart is the seat of this pure, right, perfect light and of a person's essence. And if a person's heart is healed to a certain extent, then they can start accessing their pure, right, perfect light better. Also, people talk about something called a healing matrix, the healing matrix. And this is a component of a person's pure, right, perfect light. And, if a person is sick, this is what they're trying to get at, is their healing matrix. This is just to help other people understand fully better what this pure, right, perfect light can do. So, when I work with people, usually the first thing that we do is a heart healing session. And through this session, we resolve various issues that the heart has that keeps the person from accessing their essence through their heart. And it's not a method that's very, what's the word for it? It doesn't wow people. It's kind of boring. And there's a good reason for it, because a lot of people who've had trauma in the past, their subconscious doesn't feel safe with a lot of things. And certain labels can make the person's subconscious feel even less safe. So I do also address how safe the subconscious feels about working with me or with this method or energy methods at all at the beginning. So, Tim,
Yes.
kind of talked. Do you have any questions before we start?
No, let's get started.
Okay, so the very first thing I do is I put up true shields. And true shields, according to my definition, are shields that address the emotional, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and the conscious, and everything else. Okay? A lot of people put up shields, they shields up, and I have found, at least in my case, most of these shields were basically only emotional shields. instead of the other things. And I didn't realize it because that's the way I was configured. And a lot of people are configured that way. And so my definition of true means it covers everything. So I'm going to put up true shields now, and I'm going to use muscle testing. That's another component of this. And I usually just do it like this because it's faster. When I'm working with a client, excuse me, I may have them do the sway test to help them be more involved and to help them feel what's going on. Especially, if they're standing here where I work. So, true shields up. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So we have true shields up. And now, Tim, I'd like to ask your permission to truly muscle test you.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask Tim's subconscious if his subconscious will let me do that too. So, Tim, may I truly muscle test you? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So his subconscious said yes, and it got it up to 100% yes. Okay, so I'm now going to ask Tim's subconscious, do you feel safe working with this heart session today? Yes, 100%. So you're good to go. I'm going to ask your subconscious, do you have any other issues about this session? No. So you're still good to go. So the next thing I do is I actually address Pure Right Perfect Light. For some people, Pure Right Perfect Light is God, or the source, or the creator. It's the person's higher power. And but addressing it as Pure Right Perfect Light covers the whole entire spectrum and should be tolerable to all people. So right now, I'm going to ask, say, Pure Right Perfect Light, with all thankfulness. I now ask Pure Right Perfect Light to truly bless us in all that we are before Pure Right Perfect Light, to truly show us everything we need to be shown for this session. And I test to make sure this happens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 100. And so what is being shown is usually mostly subconscious and not conscious. This is to help the subconscious get ready for healing. So the first thing that I ask for are issues in the heart that are active. So the heart has lots of issues, but they're not all active. And I usually use geological names and meteorological names to help me get a feel for the size and scope of these issues. But we don't talk about the issues themselves because that can be triggering, and it can actually re-traumatize people if we actually go into them, and it takes a lot of time. So when I asked Tim's heart, does it have any pieces that are active right now that can be dealt with? And you do. You have a big piece. Okay, and so I'm now, in all thankfulness, I now ask Pure Right Perfect Light to truly bless you in all that you are, to truly shield and resolve this piece and all that it is before Pure Right Perfect Light. And so I've asked what I want to do, what I want done for this issue in Tim's heart. And so it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, so it's truly shielded now. Now, I like to use percentages because I like to know where things are. And if it had stopped somewhere, like it's 70, and wouldn't go further, then I would go back to the chart and ask, which column is the issue, which row, etc. Just through muscle testing. But you have no issues. It is shielded, and now it's being resolved, and it's 40% resolved, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, so now it's truly resolved. And that means, so healing is involved in that. If there's any light in this issue, this light is put into your essence, and the rest just goes off, is discarded. So, do you have any other pieces? No. Do you have any pebbles? No. Do you have a pebble? Oh, you have one pebble. So a pebble's a little one. So, I now ask Pure Art Perfect Light to truly bless you and all that you are before Pure Art Perfect Light, to truly shield and resolve this pebble and all that it is before Pure Art Perfect Light. 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, so it's shielded. 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, and it is resolved. Okay. Do you have any sand? No sand. Anything smaller? No. Do you have any boulders? Do you have a hill? You have a hill. Okay, so you can see how you got sand all the way up to hills, and some people even have mountains. And mountains are usually inherited things, but you have a hill right now, and it's not inherited. So, as always, so in all thankfulness, I now ask Pure Art Perfect Light to truly bless you and all that you are before Pure Art Perfect Light, to truly shield and resolve this hill and all that it is before Pure Art Perfect Light. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay? And so it's shielded, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, and it is now resolved. Okay? Now, do you have a mountain? You do not have an active mountain. So, are there any streams or rivers? Is there a volcano? Is there a tornado? Is there a hurricane? There's a hurricane. Okay? So, in all thankfulness, I now ask Pure Art Perfect Light to truly and absolutely bless you and all that you are before Pure Art Perfect Light, to truly shield and resolve this hurricane and all that it is before Pure Art Perfect Light. 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, and resolved 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, so are there any other active issues in your heart? Nope. Okay, so are there any weaknesses that we can deal with right now? Yes. Okay, so weaknesses are, some people talk about the matrix or the grid of that a person's energy is built upon, their configuration. And a weakness is kind of like if you have fabric, and in the weave is a little bit thin, or there's a hole in it or something. Then, so this is where the fabric could tear more easily and cause problems. And a person, a weakness is, it could be something that we're given before we're born to help make us stronger by dealing with this weakness. It could be something that's been inflicted on us through culture, through trauma. We may have inherited it from one or both of our parents. They could be self-inflicted weaknesses, like you make stupid mistakes and you don't get them taken care of, and they just kind of compound and make a weakness that keeps following you. And with weaknesses, it's really hard. A lot of people fight against their weaknesses, and this fight and can never really get a hold on them. Other people just accept them and say, well, that's just the way it is. But actually, in my experience, if we are humble towards Pure Art Perfect Light and ask Pure Art Perfect Light to show us what this is, and so that we can be more open. So humility for me is to be open to what Pure Art Perfect Light wants us to have. Okay? And if we're humble and we let go of this weakness, then Pure Art Perfect Light will replace it, will take it and replace it with something better. So, are you willing to work on this weakness, Tim?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we don't even have to, ask what it is. You might get your own inspiration of what that is. So what I'm going to do is, in all thankfulness, is to ask Purite Perfect Light to truly show you what this weakness is, so that you can become humble, open to change. Okay? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So you've been shown what your weakness is. And this weakness is something that happened, was kind of developed when you were a kid. And so it happened at a time when you weren't really accountable for such things. So let's see how humble you are about them. 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So you are humble. And so I'll ask your heart, I'll ask your subconscious if you're willing to allow Pure Right Perfect Light to take this weakness. Okay, are you willing? Yes. So I get a yes from your subconscious. So now Pure Right Perfect Light is taking this weakness. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, so it's been taken, and now it's going to be replaced, okay, with a strength. Probably the counter, the opposite of whatever the weakness is. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So the seed is in there. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay. And so it's starting to sprout and grow. Now, as this weakness grows, your subconscious, the best thing for your subconscious to do with this so that it actually becomes useful to you is to accept this into your essence, to receive it, okay, to allow it to become a part of you. So I'm going to ask your subconscious if it will receive this gift, truly receive it. And your subconscious says yes. And you said, do you know how to do it? Yes, I do. And so you're going to let it become a part of your light, and you're just like, it's bigger. 14, 20, 23, 27, 40, 42, 50, 57, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay? So it's now a part of your essence. To make it even more effective, if you allow it, there's a word that is used in different connotations in English, and it's called dedication. And in the computer world, dedication, if you have a dedicated line, this is a line that it's a 24/7 line, and it normally does not get broken. It's kept up at all times. It's not like a dial-up connection. Before, a few years ago, we relied on dial-up, and but now we have more dedicated connections. I have a dedicated connection now in my apartment, and it's very nice. It's also when we dedicate ourselves to our passions in life, to what's really, really important to us, to our jobs or our family or whatever, where we really try to put our all into it. And then there's also, in a religious sense, dedicating ourselves to our higher power. And when we have our light, we can dedicate our light to Pure Right Perfect Light. And when we allow Pure Right Perfect Light to receive this, then it kind of makes a dedicated line between your essence through your heart to Pure Right Perfect Light in the universe. Would you like to do this with this new gift?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so I'll ask your subconscious, would you like to do this? Yes, I would. Okay, so you're now dedicating this 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. And so I'll see how well you're allowing Pure Right Perfect Light to truly receive this. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, because there's a learning curve here. I don't know if you've done this before. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay. So you now have a dedicated line for this new strength, whatever it is. So, is there anything else before putting up a shield around your heart? No. So your heart isn't perfect yet. It still has stuff, issues that may or may not pop up every once in a while. The best thing to help these issues not be triggered or to be less likely to be triggered is to put up a shield around your heart of pure, white, perfect light. And what this does, so when it's pure, white, perfect light, good stuff can come in and go out, but bad stuff cannot. Okay? So, I'm now going to ask pure, white, perfect light in all thankfulness to truly and absolutely shield and repair. So I'm doing this through intuition of what to say. Shield and repair and strengthen and magnify your heart and all that it is before pure, perfect light. 50, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. So this true shield is now around your true heart. Okay? Would you like to dedicate this to pure, white, perfect light so that this can be a nice, strong, consistent, dedicated connection to pure, white, perfect light? Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's make sure you have received it into your light. 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So now this is a part of your essence. Okay, and now can you dedicate this? Yes. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay. And are you allowing pure, perfect light to receive it? 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay. So, now you have a nice shield around your heart. It'll help you deal with stuff in life a little bit better. Is there anything else to do for this heart session today? One more thing. Okay. Is it a weakness? Is it a gift? Is it an ability? Okay, so now, Tim, this is up to you. Have you ever talked with your heart before?
Yes, I have. With muscle testing.
Okay. Why don't you talk with your heart right now and ask it what it would like right now?
Okay. It just loves that word, pure, white, perfect light. So it just says, more of that, please.
More of that, please. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. So I get that your heart is ready for the ability because,
Yeah.
There's a thing, you have a gift, but there's above a gift is a talent, which is like a bunch of gifts that work together. And below a gift, there's abilities and skills and stuff like that. You can kind of look at it as a progression of how well you can do something. Okay? And so I get that your heart wants an ability to do something. And I'm sure that will grow into a gift as you use it. In all thankfulness and humility, I now ask Pure White Perfect Light to truly bless you in all that you are before Pure White Perfect Light with this true ability to access Pure White Perfect Light for yourself and everybody that you serve. In all that you are and in Pure White Perfect Light.
If I name one of my future CDs Pure White Perfect Light, I'll definitely say I got it from you.
Okay.
I love that word.
Well, it describes the whole thing,
Yeah.
Because white light is all, everything. And, that's what it is. And, you can get into a whole bunch of discussion about all the aspects of it and how it affects us, how it affects humanity, how humanity understands it is great. Okay, so you're receiving this ability into your essence, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Would you like to dedicate this?
Yes.
Okay. 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. And how well is Pure White Perfect Light receiving this? 80, 90, 100. Okay, so, um, um, have you been attuned to Reiki? I can't remember.
I had a Reiki person come on my healing call. She did a little work on me and all the callers, so I don't. That's as much
Uh,
Reiki as I did.
well, then she did do an attunement on you because
Yeah,
that takes
probably.
time. Um, so I'm a Reiki master as well, and so I can attune people and stuff like that. And I have so Reiki is actually a subset, a subfrequency of pure white perfect light, and it has particular. Um, it does particular things for particular reasons. But I have also been able to attune people to pure white perfect light, and they can use it just like Reiki, but they just have more access to different frequencies depending on what they need or what the other person needs, who they're working with. And that's kind of cool too. So I've done this session using words, words and my intent, asking. So I haven't done the work actually. I've just asked for it and monitored it. Okay. The subconscious has to be open to it and want it and feel safe about it. Because I mean, when you work with people, it's always a good idea to put shields up first before asking their subconscious permission to work on them, because you're going to have different answers a lot of the time in front of shields or behind shields. Also, asking if they feel safe subconsciously. If a person subconsciously doesn't feel safe, they may work with you and they may, let you release stuff, but very rarely will they let you get to the absolute core of the problem in a timely manner. It might take a bunch of sessions when, if they feel safe about it, they might actually get to the core of the problem in that session or within a couple of sessions and not take, zillions of sessions forever. This is my experience. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of interesting things that I have found in working with Pure White Perfect Light on how to make other modalities a little bit more efficient, especially. So I come from an emotion code, body code background, um, and this has helped me in that practice. Um, Basically, if a person has had a heart session and the main issues have been dealt with, it's much easier to do emotion code and body code on these people because um, you may test you've cleared everything, got all the imbalances taken care of, and you say, oh, that's all there is to do, now you should get better. But if the person doesn't get better, then you're like, well, what happened? And what you can do is that when you get to the bottom of an issue where it says there's nothing more to do, there's nothing more that's hidden, there's nothing more deactivated, or whatever people like to say nowadays, if there's nothing left, then the person's essence should start to shine through into this issue. And if it doesn't, then you know that there's non-light there and that there's a disconnection of some sort. And I am not of the opinion that the subconscious knows everything. Like a lot of other energy workers are. The subconscious knows exactly what you need. Um, for a lot of people, it doesn't. And because of many reasons, usually because of inherited lack of connection. If the subconscious never learns something as soon as the person is conceived, then how is it supposed to know? So when you connect, especially these inherited disconnections, when you reconnect them with pure, perfect light, then the subconscious can start to learn and let it through into the conscious reality of the person. So with emotion code, body code, when you get to the bottom, when you think you've gotten to the bottom of an issue, test if their pure white perfect light is starting to shine through or not. Because if it's not, then there's something else blocking that isn't covered by body code or emotion code. And it's usually a disconnect and possibly non-light involved. So Um, Also, I said reconnection. Actually, I want to give credit to the reconnection. Have you heard of the reconnection?
I've heard that name, but I don't think I've ever learned anything about it.
So this has been developed by another chiropractor, like Dr. Nelson, but his name is Dr. Eric Pearl. He's in California, and I don't know how many years back, he had an experience, um, and through this experience, started to develop a modality called the reconnection. And the book is very interesting. You can get it on Kindle. And he kind of explains his experience and how he understood it at the time, and basically says, once you've read this book, you can do this too. And I found this book at a time, at a really low time in my life, and I'm kind of an energy researcher, so I started researching it, muscle testing it, experimenting with it, and everything. And this reconnection is basically pure, right, perfect light. Um, but the belief system that Dr. Pearl uses limits it somewhat. And so what I've tried to do is use it in a more targeted way. For Dr. Pearl, he's like, you just let it flow and it does whatever it can do, okay? Whatever the person's ready for. And I'm the type of person that, well, if the person's not ready for it, why not? And to help, and then help get them ready for it. And so this is between all the other modalities that I had been practicing and looking into, I had been able to add this reconnective energy in as well. And in the end, this is pure, right, perfect light. And I've been trying to use it in a very targeted manner, using the chart, this basic chart that I showed earlier, so that limitations can be lifted in a safe way, a non-triggering, non-traumatic way. So yeah. So do you have any other questions about this?
No, it sounds great. So for people watching the video, because it's going to be on YouTube, I'm in Japan and it's now almost 4 o'clock, and it's now 9 o'clock for you. And where are you?
I'm in Germany, in Munich, Germany.
Germany, wow,
so
okay.
Yeah, it's about 20 to 9.
My mom was born in Munich, Germany.
Yeah, so I just got my kids off to school and shoved in some breakfast.
What I was saying is my mom was born in Munich, Germany, but she left
really?
she left when she was 2. So I don't think she's ever gone back. I've never been to Germany yet. I just went.
Oh, Germany's cool, man.
Yeah, so eventually I'm going to do an all Europe tour. So I'm definitely going to go back to Germany.
You can sleep on our couch.
Okay, good. So, how can people get a hold of you for the people watching the YouTube video? Give your website or give your attach.
So my website is, I can write it in chat, is the Soul Code Method, all one word, .com.
Okay.
And I also have, I have a booking site there, and the things that I do. And I also, there's a tab on there that says webinar. And I did a webinar back in, I guess, March. Kind of an introduction. I'll probably redo that webinar because in a more efficient way. But it also have that chart. So I'll put the screenshot back in of the chart. I can.
Yeah, I have the basic soul code method table.
Yeah, or has that been on the whole time?
Yeah, it's on the whole time.
Okay, never mind. We didn't even have to use it with you.
Yeah.
Because you had no hang-ups.
Cool.
With your heart session. That is available for anyone. And technically, a person can use this just with their intent, even if they haven't had a heart session. So anyone who's had a heart session has at least the latest version has a guaranteed access to their pure perfect light. It may not be 100% access because you can go into other things like how open is your heart. lots of different things. But the heart session is the basic starting point. You can also do a soul session the exact same way, where you look at issues in the soul and how well the soul is allowing pure, white, perfect light from a person's essence in. Okay? Because the optimal situation is that your pure, white, perfect light flows out of your heart and can access all parts of your body. And your whole body can access your healing matrix, okay, on a physical level. And then there's the other matrices for, how you live your life and stuff like that, for your life purpose. And there's different matrices available to a person, or actually in their pure, perfect light. So you can actually do different parts of a person's being. That the second session is very often a soul session. You can also do a spirit body session. You can also do a physical body session. You can do a being session. It depends on what the person needs in their access, and you can test that out with them. If they have a specific issue, then you can actually do a session on that issue. You have an issue like asthma, okay? You can go in and shields up, make sure the person feels safe, ask to be shown what needs to be shown, and then go in and say, do you have any rocks and pebbles and sand or hills or mountains or weather problems and stuff, and go and clear those out and make sure that their pure, perfect light can shine through into the situation. Okay, so this is kind of my perception on how to work with issues through this method.
Cool. So I think this would be, if you want in the future, I think this would be perfect to come on the radio program and do this. You can take one or two callers or whatever you feel. You can do a little bit, or you can do the whole session on a person. It's up to you.
Well, it should stick to a whole session with the heart session. It's not a good idea to not finish everything that a person can do. And a heart session usually lasts 20 minutes to half an hour. So like with you, that's what it with you, half an hour. But I have had a heart session that lasted 2 hours. Oh. That was a heavy thing. So it's hard to tell in advance.
Okay, so if you want to come on my radio program and do it, what I can do is I can do like some kind of drawing for all the people who want to do it to be the one who's selected to do it.
That's a very good idea. And then we can test them beforehand to see, will they fit? Will their heart session fit in a reasonable time? Okay. And because this is, it's a really nice thing to have, even if it's the only thing you do with the soul code. It helps a person build a basis for any other modality to work as desired. This is my feeling and my experience so far.
Well.
So.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna post this first on YouTube, and then I'll post it on the page that we're both on, the body code page, and I'll say that I got a session from you, and I'll give my feedback on it in the future. But I already feel there's some shift. So.
Okay. So observe yourself.
Yeah, I'm very kinesthetic, so I feel things right away. And
okay.
Yeah, and when you started, the first thing you said, once you said pure, white, perfect light, it's like that's the word I've been looking for. I've been calling infinite intelligence, and I've been calling all different other things, but that just encapsulates everything I think of what consciousness is. So that's perfect. Okay. Just saying that word almost did healing on me before you even started.
Well, I'm glad that resonates with you.
I was like, oh my God, yes, that's my next CD. No, my next CD's, yeah. Okay.
Well, it's not me. I didn't make this up.
Well, okay? I know, but you shared it to me, so that was great. I really appreciate that. And because I'm Buddhist, I've been Buddhist most of my life, and in Buddhism, the true essence, the true self, is called pure white consciousness. So when you said pure white, perfect light, I just thought, that really is what we're trying to say when, of course, we're using translations of old texts, and in English it comes
Right.
out to pure white consciousness, but pure white, perfect light just makes it so much more palpable to everyone now, because everyone's...
Yeah, and I come from a technical background. I'm a technical translator,
Well,
so German into English, and I've done a lot of work in the area of IT and web development and this, that, and the other thing, and so my mind kind of works like a technician, and because I had a lot of childhood trauma that really cut me off from my heart, and I didn't even know it. And I grew up very religious, and I'm still very religious, in my own religion. But my relationship to my religion has just grown exponentially as I start to understand what they've tried to be telling me my whole life. Because I didn't really understand it because my heart had been blocked. But I just knew that I needed to keep with it, and I did. And now I'm understanding my religion in ways that I could never understand it before. But I'm able to look at things in kind of a technical way that makes it more easier to understand for other people who also don't understand all these, soft, feely, fuzzy words that you find in religion, like love and happiness and joy and all that stuff, which I never really understood before until I found, Pure White Perfect Light. And I'm like, woohoo, this is great now. And as a translator, it's really, really important to translate for your audience. Because, the different religions have different ways of saying things. And if you don't say it the way they say it, then they don't trust it. Okay?
yeah.
And so finding translations for what I do is really important to me so that anybody in any belief system can work with anybody else without anybody being triggered. That's my goal.
Well,
And so Pure White Perfect Light so far has been the best meta idea that doesn't seem to trigger people because it's newish, nobody uses it, so it hasn't built up bad connotations like other things have, and it addresses everything at once, and in any belief system that uses true light in it. So yeah, oh gosh, we could talk forever about this stuff. It's cool.
So you translate English into German and German into English, or which?
No, just German into English.
Into English. Oh, okay.
But I'm kind of that part of my life is slowly coming to an end because energy medicine is much more fun.
Yeah.
And much more satisfying than doing manuals that people will probably never read. So, with the next update, okay, just update it. Still nobody has read it. And I find mistakes I made before. I'm like, oh, nobody caught my mistakes. The proofreader didn't catch this mistake. And and nobody noticed. So I'm like, that doesn't appeal to me anymore.
Well, I did 9 years of banking. I'm glad to be done with that. And
yes,
I'm slowly graduating from my 11 years of teaching English in Japan. This year's my graduation, so I'm...
Oh, wow.
Well, that's what I'm targeting for. I've been trying to graduate for 11 years, but...
Well, that's how I started in Germany, was teaching English in companies and at universities and stuff. But my health let me stop that after just a few years because I didn't have the energy and health anymore to run around Munich all the time. And getting up at 5:30 and having to be in bed by 10. But I just got home from the last class, and so my health basically said, "You're not doing this anymore." And that's when I went to the technical stuff and translation, which I could do at home. And I did it. I had my kids, so I was able to do it and have my kids too. And but now that chapter is coming to an end. And now this chapter has started, and it's a much more fun and satisfying chapter, I must say.
Good. Okay, well, I look forward to hearing more about everything, and I'll keep in touch with you, and we'll try to set up a show soon.
Okay.
So I'll let you know in a couple days how I'm feeling, and I'll give you the links to where I post it all.
Okay, and if anything goes wonky, let me know.
Okay.
You know where to find me.
Perfect. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.